LSAT PrepTest 23 from October 1997. This is Section 1, questions 1 through 5, which is the first logic game of this test. Okay, so what do we have? We have a producer who's positioning exactly 7 music pieces. Okay, so we have F, G, H, J, K, L, and M. One after another music recording, so this is a sequencing game, not necessarily in that order. Each piece will fill exactly one of the 7 sequential tracks according to the following conditions. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 sequential tracks, numbered 1 through 7. Okay, and so what do we know? Our first rule tells us that F must be second. Okay, next rule, J cannot be 7, so no J in this last slot. G can come neither immediately before nor immediately after H. So our third rule is that G and H in either order cannot happen. Okay, next, H must be before L, so H before L, and L must be before M. Okay, great. All right, okay, so this game, right? We have a rule for F, we have a rule for J, rule for G, rule for H, rule for L, rule for M, which means that K can kind of do whatever it wants. Like it's the floater of this game, right? Okay, so not a ton of deductions to be made here. You see here that given that G and H can't ever be together, that sort of meshes with this first term, this H coming before L, so it can't be GH together or HG together. But if there's something separating them, then G can still come before H or after H, depending, right? So not a ton of inferences other than that to be made here, which means that we're probably going to be given a bunch of information in the question. So that's good. That's all fine. Okay, so let's actually box this off, and then we can go ahead and look at these questions. Okay, so question number 1. They ask us which of the following could be the order from 1st to 7th of the pieces on the recording. Okay, so this is your typical make sure you understand the rules kind of thing. So let's just go through the rules. Answer choice A doesn't have F in the second slot. Answer choice C, I'll just start numbering these. This is rule number 1, rule number 2, rule number 3. This is 4 plus 5 right here. Right, so answer choice C has J in the last slot. We can't have that. That violates rule number 2. Let's look for something where G and H are together, and it turns out answer choice D has G and H mashed together. Okay, and then this H, L, and M order as well, right? And so B is fine on that front. E is not. E has H in the 5th slot with M and then G behind it, so it breaks this rule. Right, so this is 4 plus 5 being violated. So answer choice B is the correct answer to number 1. Right, just your typical acceptability question. Okay, number 2. If M fills some track before that of J, and also before that of K on this recording, which of the following must be true? Okay, so now they give us this new piece of information, right? So we already knew that H comes before M, or H comes before L, comes before M, but now they're telling us that M fills a track before J and before K, right? Oh, wow, that's great. That's a ton of information. Okay, so what that means is, we have our 7 slots, F is in 2, and H, L, M, J, and K are also now spoken for, which means that, in addition to all this other stuff, we also have to place G. Okay. So looking at our 7, seven spaces for these songs, looks like look at how many things we have to place here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of these things are just in this order, right? It's got to go H, L, M, and then J and K in some order, right? But then so the way I think about this, let's think about all the ways that we could place these 5 elements in, right? Ignore G for a second because they can just slot in wherever as long as it's not directly next to H, right? So okay, can we put H in 1? We can definitely put H in 1. Right? Then L, M, J, K, and G all come back here, right? And that has the added advantage of separating out G from H, right? Which is good. That's what we want. How about if we obviously you can't put H in 2, so how about we put H in 3, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, so all this stuff still fits, right? Which means that G is going to be over here. So when H is 1, G is somewhere back here. When H is 3, G is 1. And then you think about it a little bit more and you realize it can't actually happen any other way, right? Because H, L, M, J, K, those 5 slots are in this order. And so, for example, if you put H here, then you can put L here and then M here, and then what are you going to do with J and K, right? There's just not enough space for it. So it turns out that the deduction that you can make here is that H is either 1 or 3, and that's the only ways it can work, right? Okay. So now they're asking us what must be true. So I mean, we figured out something that must be true. So it's got to be some either this thing on its own, or a logical consequence of this thing, right? So let's take a look. So answer is A. Does G have to be first? No, we just figured out that H can be first as well, and G can be slotted somewhere over here. So that's not right. How about B? K is 7th. I mean, I think that could be true, but I don't think that has to be true, right? Because like if you put it like H and then L, M, J, K, why can't you just put G in 7? Right? There's no reason that that can't happen. So B is not right. How about C? L is 3rd. Okay, so H and then L, right? So that satisfies that L can be 3rd, but like look what we have here. We also figured out that H can be 3rd, right? Because H, L, M, J, or K, or J, K actually, right? So answer choice C could be true, but it doesn't have to be true. How about D? H comes immediately before or immediately after F. Well, H can either be in 1 or 3, so yeah, that's immediately before or immediately after F, right? So answer choice D really is just what we found out, but rephrased slightly differently to make sure you understand what's going on. But that's definitely the answer, right? Looking at answer choice E, L comes immediately before or immediately after G. So basically what we're doing is we're slotting G here or here, but then if you remember up here, when we just dumped G into 7, right? You just put H, L, M, J, K, and then G in 7. There's no way G has to have any relationship with L. There's just no reason for it, right? So D is the correct answer to question number 2. Okay, question number 3 asks us which of the following is a complete and accurate list of pieces, any of which could be first on the recording, right? So this is pretty straightforward here, because if you reproduce your list of elements, let's just start crossing them out, right? F clearly can't be first because it's second, right? L and M also clearly cannot be first because they're both after H, right? So what does that leave us? That leaves us with G, where the only restriction is that it can't be next to H, right? It leaves us with H, it leaves us with J, it leaves us with K, right? And so what answer choice is that? That's answer choice B, right? And if you wanted to, you could actually do this by process of elimination as well, right? If you look at these answer choices, you see very clearly from this rule, 4 plus 5, that H can be first, right? So that immediately gets rid of A, D, and E, because none of them have H in them, right? And then you look at answer choice C. Answer choice C has L in the list of possibilities, and L comes after H. So there's no way it can be first. So, whether you go at it from, affirmatively figuring it out, or from process of elimination, B is still going to be your answer. Okay, next question. The earliest track that M can fill. Well, 1, 2, 3. You would think that the answer is 3, but wait, hold on a second, right? Remember that F has to be in 2, right? So if we're going to put these in the earliest possible situation, then H is going to be 1, right? But then F is 2, L is 3, and then M is what? It's not 3, it's 4, right? So 4th is actually the earliest position that M can fill. And what answer is that? That's answer choice C. Okay, last question. If G is to come immediately before H, so now G and H are in this block, okay? But all other conditions remain in effect. Okay, so this comes before L, this comes before M. Any of the following could be true except. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw out our diagram again. There's an F in 2, there's no J in 7, K sort of floats around doing whatever it wants. Okay, so GH to L to M, right? It's very clear that GH cannot go here before F, so it's got to go after F. The question is just where it goes after F. And actually, you see that with a little bit of thought, we can actually just split this into 2 scenarios, right? So I'm actually going to use blue for this top scenario, GH, right? And then we have L, M, right, somewhere over here. And then, we also have J to place, right? Which means that, J can't be here. So J, if it's back here, it's got to be in one of these 2 slots. Otherwise, it could be up front, whatever the case may be, right? So we continue to have J and K to place in this scenario. How about down here? We put G and H over here. That means this is L, this is M, and these trade off between J and K, right? And that's really the only 2 ways it can happen, because if you try to put G in 5, that means H is 6, L is 7, where do we put M? Right? So these are the only 2 ways that this can work. So they ask us any of the following could be true except. Okay, so answer choice A. Let's go ahead and just write these out so we can eliminate them. So answer choice A says that J comes immediately before F. That doesn't have to be true, right? It can come right after it too, right? K, F, J. There's no reason answer choice A couldn't be true, right? So since this is a could be true except, and answer choice A could be true, it's not what we're looking for. How about B? K comes immediately before G. It could, right? K, G, H, L, M with the J in front. So answer choice B could be true again, so it's not what we're looking for. Answer choice C. J comes immediately after L, right? Okay, so that requires a little bit more imagination, but if you look at this, F, G, H, why don't we just go L, J, M, right? With the K bringing up the front. F, G, H, L, J, M. So answer choice C could be true as well. How about D? J comes immediately before K. This one seems like it's going to run into a lot of problems, right? Because look what we have here. The one thing that we know for sure is that one of these J or K have to be in this slot. Actually, it's probably even better if we just wrote it here, right? One of J or K, and then the other of J or K has to be back here somewhere, right? And so if we put J and K, actually there is no way that we can put J and K sort of, in a box together and make this all still work, right? Because there's no room for it up here, so it would mean that we have to put another box out here, which means now you don't have enough room for L and M, right? So D looks like a very promising candidate. Meaning that, how about E? K comes immediately after M. So K comes after M. You just, J, F, G, H, L, M, K, right? You just put K last, it's no big deal. Okay, so, these four, A, B, C, and E, can be true. Answer choice D cannot, therefore that's the answer. And that's it for this game.